let's do it. So hello to everybody who's arrived. Hello to everyone out there on the live stream. To those of you who are already here, I'm going to do a quick recap for everyone who's just arrived. And it's great to have you all here. And we've been discussing tonight being in the present moment. And we were looking at a few ways of thinking about the present moment. One is that by practicing mindfulness meditation or some kinds of meditation, we can actually train our mind to be more present. But then we talked about what does that mean? As we looked at two ways of thinking about being in the present moment. One is just the idea of letting go of any of the other thoughts, any of the attitudes or feelings we have, and just being present. And for those of you who've had that experience, that can feel nice. And for those of you who haven't, let me describe it a little bit. So I can contrast it to if you're worrying or you're thinking about what's going on or you're thinking about something else that's been happening. You know, it's like a weight on your shoulders rather than just being really present with what's going on. And if you were to take that weight off your shoulders, it's just like this calm, this just relaxation. And so we were discussing how you can practice stepping into the present moment. And the more you practice that, the more beautiful it becomes. Like, I'm reminding myself to be calm. Or I'm reminding myself to feel strong and empowered. I remember what it feels like to just let go of all the worries and ideas and just be present. So we discussed this one thing of this skill of stepping into the present moment. And then the other thing we were discussing is ways that can really be helpful. And yes, it's helpful in every moment, but seeing how it helps in different scenarios can help even more. So I gave the example, some people in social situations might be like worrying about what people are thinking, or they might be just worrying about themselves. And so rather than just enjoying themselves, or rather than just enjoying being in the present moment, they're being in these other ideas. So by being able to notice those other things and just, that's a button that I remember, it triggers me to remember to be in the present moment. There's one example where being in the present moment can just make things so much more enjoyable. And then we looked at other things. You could be the same thing for art or sport, just like really getting caught up in being creative or being your best. Or in a learning situation, right now, are you hearing these ideas and putting all your creativity and feeling into them as much as you can? Or how much of your mind is doing other stuff? And so I invite you to just really try to experience and engage with this class or any class you're in with as much of your presence and creativity as possible. All right, so there's a quick recap of everything we covered. Again, sorry that the audio wasn't working, and thank you so much for sticking with us. So does anyone have any responses or questions or comments about what I've shared so far?
When did you get your new Avi?
And when did I get my new headset? Oh, my new avatar.
No, your new Avi? Yeah.
Oh, I've actually had it for a long time, but I've been using my Quest friendly one more often. I started...
Oh, isn't that a Quest Have we?
I think this one has a fallback for Quest. I'm not certain.
Oh, okay.
But also, I started messing around with this one to give it better mouth tracking, and I wanted to add some other features, and I think I kind of broke it a little bit, and I hadn't got around to improving it anymore, so that's why I'd been back on the other one. I didn't even realize I was in this one right now, so thanks for pointing it out. I actually would really love to be able to, I don't know, go like this and make myself glow or send balls of positivity and kindness out to all of you. So if anyone's out there is an avatar designer and wants to do some creative stuff with me, I'd really love someone to play with on that.
I think it looks really cool. Like, you can definitely make someone to add those stuff.
Thanks.
For sure.
All right, I'm going to try and bring us back to the present moment with the topic of practicing present moment awareness. So thanks for the thoughts and compliments, then, Liddy. Does anyone have anything else they would like to ask or share in response to present moment awareness? Or perhaps you've got some time where it's difficult for you and you'd like to ask about how you might make that better. All right, so let's go through a little bit of the practice. The first thing I mentioned was that with meditation, we can actually experience present moment awareness more powerfully. So I'd like to give you that experience, and then as we keep exploring, carrying that more into every part of our life, we will be able to make it from not just an idea, but from an experiential way of being. So can I see with a wave who has practiced meditation before? So most of the people here. Great. There's so many different kinds of meditation and so many different benefits or hindrances or techniques that different styles of meditation can do. So I'm going to guide a meditation particularly around present moment awareness. So I invite everybody to get comfortable. If you're brand new to meditation, just let yourself follow whatever ideas I say. I invite everybody to close their eyes. And then just notice your mind right now. You were seeing stuff and now you maybe just seeing darkness, or maybe you've got a really vivid imagination and you're seeing whatever you're imagining. But you can also notice, what do you feel like right now? And you could also notice, are you thinking any words, and what's your inner tone of voice like? So these are all things that are happening in your conscious experience. What's actually happening in this present moment? You can probably hear some music. You're probably breathing. So I invite you to just put your focus onto the things that are actually happening, separate from you. Well, I want to include in that your breath. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat, but separate from your thoughts, from your mind. So try to let your attention rest on the breath, just feeling your breathing. You can also notice the music of the temple. Maybe there's also noises around you. We're practicing just letting ourselves experience the present moment with no other thoughts, no other feelings. Just experiencing right now. So I'm going to talk a bunch, I'm going to speed up my voice, probably activate your mind and your thoughts for a while, and then we're going to practice jumping back in again to just being peaceful on your next breath. And you can notice which things are actually happening, like your breath, the music. And you can notice what's in your mind or your feelings. And I invite you just to keep bringing your attention back into just what's happening now. For many of us, that's most easily just really experiencing the breath. But you may also like to just enjoy the music. And each moment that you can bring yourself more into the present, just do that. More completely in the breath. Anything that's not now is just faded away more completely. For some of you, imagining an enlightened being. What's your mind like in perfect immersion in the present moment? Perfect peace and calm. For some of you, imagining that for a moment to dive more fully into this moment. You could imagine and start to rehearse moving through your life with this peaceful present moment awareness. Walking along a path, just loving each moment. Enjoying every sight, every sensation. Perhaps you could imagine different places that you like to go. And know that next time you go there, you'll have this greater sense of peace and presence. And now notice what your experience has been like for the last couple of minutes. And see each moment that was beneficial, each moment where you were practicing or learning a way of being that you love. And let's spend the next little part of the meditation focusing on feeling really good. So each breath you take, make it feel more relaxing. The muscles in your body finding peace. And bit by bit, as your breath becomes more peaceful, you notice your inner joy. And now let's start to practice bringing this present moment awareness into some specific parts of your life. If you're an artist or a creator in some way, you could imagine, you could rehearse being really in the flow. What does it feel like to be in the zone, to be wrapped up in your inspired creativity? Or if you're a sports person or you do some kind of physical activity, you could imagine just really being present, enjoying, giving your best, bringing your creativity to each moment. Or perhaps you could think of some social situations where being present would be just so much better than your old habits that you're letting go of. Just letting yourself enjoy the people, feel curious, feel kind. You're saying whatever you want to say. And now whatever you've been thinking about or rehearsing, I want you to imagine if you notice some time where you're not in the present moment, some worry or distraction. And as soon as you notice that, you're just setting yourself up with this habit to say, hey, I'm going to be in the present moment. That feels good. It feels strong. It feels spacious. So for the last minute of the meditation, just reflect upon the meditation. And when we come out of the meditation, I'm going to ask every one of us to share something. Perhaps it could just be one word, some nice feeling that you had. Perhaps it could be something about how you practice being in the present moment. Perhaps it could be the scenario that you just practiced being more present. Maybe it's a nice idea or a nice feeling that you had. And then after we've each shared something, we could then also open it up if anyone has any questions. But let's just make, as we go through now, that you just share something from the practice. So I'm going to start from one side of the room and just make my way across. So Lord Kirov, whenever you're ready, we'd love to hear something you have to share.
I started a new job today, actually, in
Congratulations.
construction, and it's new, it's frightening, and there's a million worries, and just thinking of all the times that I was worrying earlier today where just take a minute, get into the present moment, forget about the worries for a second, and make it an enjoyable experience.
Sounds like tomorrow's going to be a much more enjoyable day.
I think so.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing and congratulations on the new job. And that just sounded so practical and helpful. So I hope you really enjoyed it.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Jackson, have you got something to share? All right. Well, as we go through, if you feel like it, I would love to hear from everybody. So even if it's just one word or one feeling, please jump in if you can. Geeknificent? All right, let's facts.
Yeah, I think taking a break and being present allowed me to see a bit that my body is very sore from working out yesterday, and maybe, yeah, doing some massages or something like that might be a good idea.
Actually, I'm so glad you said that, because, yeah, stopping to be present not only can help us notice our body more, but it can also help us notice many things. People will be like, oh, I now see that I've been doing that, and it'd be much better to just approach it like this. Or many of you may notice, by trying to step into the present moment, you just notice things you hadn't been noticing. So thank you so much for sharing. Decrepit?
Yeah, I was just aware of my heartbeat and how it's just kind of going throughout my whole body. This meditation's interesting.
Nice. How did it feel?
Good.
Excellent. I hope you continue to carry that good feeling into every present moment. All right, Pops, are you with us? Looks like you're away from the keyboard. Amazer? You're signing that you're holding a little baby and you're resting. Okay. Well, I hope it was a very peaceful time, a loving, sweet time for you. All right, Anomalous.
Hello.
Hi.
What was the question?
Is there anything from the meditation that you'd just like to share, from a nice feeling to an insight?
It felt good. There was nothing really. It's just it's easier now to concentrate than before, but I'm still just focusing on clearing my mind and letting the thoughts go away.
Something I'd like to say about that is you started by saying it's easier now than before. Can I ask if you meant before as in the start of the meditation, or now that you've been meditating compared to before, like months ago, or what time frame?
Yeah, basically, it's been getting easier over time. I also got my medication for ADHD a couple weeks ago, like a month ago, and since then it's been much easier.
Wonderful.
My mind's actually calm.
Something that I hope is helpful for everybody, that I've also seen very helpful for communities that I've been in, is that after a meditation or after each moment, the way that people reflect upon the moment really shapes their next moments. So I first noticed it in meditation groups. And if after the meditation, if somebody was like, oh, I really had trouble focusing, it would be so wild to notice how much after that many other people said, oh, I had trouble focusing. And in places where the first few comments were, oh wow, I was just really focused, and then encourage people to say more of that. And I noticed in communities where there had been a week where a lot of people had talked about their trouble focusing, the next week people would say that again, and I would see like this wave of the community focusing more on the disfocus. And I'm guessing not just in their comments, but also in their meditations, their mind was then doing more of that. And on the flip side, I've noticed that in communities where after the meditation, if people share the peacefulness that they felt, or the focus that they felt, that then more people will notice or talk about more of the peace and more of the focus. So I intentionally set it up that that's what we would share, so that you'll remember that more, and then you'll focus on that more, and as a community we'll have more of that. Now, more than just that, as something I've noticed across communities, I really want to encourage you to have that in yourself. So every moment that you have a focused moment, if you're like, yeah, wow, that was a really nice focused moment, that will give you more of those moments. And if you start to notice some time where you're like, I'm not focusing well, try to step out of that analysis and remind yourself that you can focus well and what it feels like to focus well. So the way that we talk to ourselves, or the way that we think about our meditation practice, or the way that we think about our mind day to day, that really shapes what our mind does. I know I had some time where I was going to lots of different meditation classes where they talked about the mind as like blah blah blah. It just wasn't helpful. And after hanging out there a lot, I noticed that I was thinking about my mind in this unhelpful way. And then I was like, oh, okay, I'm aware that my brain's now picked up this habit. So I started to say to myself, hey, my brain is my friend. My brain is helpful. My thoughts and my ideas are awesome. And the more I thought that, the more of those kind of thoughts that I had. So I encourage everybody to just be aware of that. The way that you think about yourself. Try to shape that in a way that's really nice. Celebrate every little win. Remember the good moments. And then you'll get more wins and more good moments. Something I've been thinking about a lot the last few weeks is somebody said to me that they'd put meditation aside for a while because they're just having fun with their friends all the time. And I wanted to say, well, having fun with your friends is great. In fact, that's an awesome time to be aware. Like, bring more fun into the fun time with your friends. Bring your best self into your happy times. So, I guess in some movements, like spirituality is separate from living. You might notice that I never bring up spirituality. For me, it's like just learning to master our minds in each moment. So every moment is a chance to make it more happy, make it more positive. To, hey, when I'm hanging out with my friends, can I make it so the way I have fun also drives my life forward in the directions that I want? How do I infuse awesomeness or more fun or more of my values into my life? And maybe the way you hang out with your friends doesn't really line up with what you think your real values are. So how would I bring the most fun, the best parts of my values into the time with my friends? Every moment is a chance to be in the present moment. Every moment is a chance to step out of like just being caught up with things and bring your best into those moments. So I invite everybody notice how you think about your mind and about yourself, and do more of those things that are good. And if you ever see comparisons or attitudes that aren't helping you, I just invite you to just do something else instead. Give yourself a moment to celebrate the awesome ways that you are. Give yourself a moment to just breathe and step into the present moment. Hey, I'm not going to do that comparison anymore. I'm choosing that I make my mind more and more beautiful all the time. Did that sound relevant? Actionable? Anonymous, I guess I'm asking you because it was in response to what you said, but also asking everyone else too.
Yeah, it actually makes me feel better because I've been really bad at meditating because I've been hanging out with my friends too much. Well, I shouldn't say that. I've been hanging out with my friends and having fun.
Yeah, having fun's great. Life is good when you're having fun. So yeah, I hope you can make the having fun with your friends into a meditation. Be your most awesome self while you're having fun. Does anyone else have any thoughts or questions that they would like to share? All right. Amaza just wrote in on the chat that the baby is sleeping next to them, so they don't dare to talk. I think your sign language kind of explained that, but yeah. Thanks for explaining, Amaza. Pops, welcome back. I think you were away from the keyboard when we went through and each person shared a nice moment they had during the meditation. How was the meditation for you?
Good. I don't know if I got too deep into it. I had a phone call I had to take. But, yeah, my bad.
All right, so I want to reiterate what we were just saying about comparisons. Yes, meditation can get into these deep, amazing states, but making these comparisons kind of misses out on just being present with what was. So if I was to ask you just to share how was your meditation? Was it relaxing? Was it focusing? Was it peaceful? Even if just a little. I'd like to hear you reflecting upon the good parts of what you experienced.
It's interesting to me because I guess as my meditation practice has gone over time, it would more so be like me very, very slowly going from like a state of maybe like I'm not feeling the best that day, and then slowly transitioning into like that feeling of bliss. But now my more recent meditations, I notice it's like I'm already jumping in at like 50% of the way there, and then I sit there for a while, and like it's instead of my progress bar going slowly from 0 to 100, it like jumps to 50, and I sit there and I'm wondering when it's gonna hit me, and then it hits me like 30 minutes later. It's so interesting. I don't know why that happens, but
That's so beautiful that you are able to reflect upon it and see that you can jump in so much faster, and then how it's happening over time for you. Thanks for sharing. That's awesome.
yeah.
while you were on the phone call, we were meditating on different ways that being in the present moment will help us. So I said perhaps in your sport or your creativity or in your socializing, if you ever notice that you're thinking stuff instead of being present, just to practice, hey, if I'm going to notice that, what am I going to do that brings me back to just being calm, enjoying the person that's with me? So actually, let's all just do that again right now. Maybe me talking about it in our awake state, it's more helpful sometimes than just in meditation. So I think everybody has some kinds of conversations where you're not at your best. Perhaps it's something that's heated with somebody or some disagreement. Perhaps it's new work colleagues or some scenario where there might be some nervousness. So I want everyone to imagine a scenario like that. Maybe you could imagine before this, you saw those people, like on the way to work, you're imagining, hey, today's going to be great. I'm going to have a really good time. So you've primed yourself to feel good. Or you're having a conversation with someone where often there's disagreements, and you've primed yourself. You've practiced to feel calm, to feel assertive, to feel clear thinking. Maybe you're on your way to a party or to have some fun, and you've primed yourself to have great fun and to be playful and wild while at the same time expressing your most brilliant, good intellectual self, or whatever you think would be more awesome in the world. You get to like bring that into your most fun self. So you've primed yourself to be great. But then you get out of the present moment. Somebody said something, you start thinking about some nerves. They've triggered you in some way. So I want everyone just to imagine when you've been triggered, you just notice it and you're like, oh, coming back into being present. So I'm going to say it again, and each time I say it, it's like it sets up that pathway in your brain. So you're with somebody, you start doing something that's not present, not feeling great. Oh, I notice I'm doing that. I'm going to take a deep breath, just tell myself, come back into being present. Get to look at this person, and just without any of my ideas, just see them for who they are. Just care for them. Hear what they said. Maybe hear it from their perspective. Or maybe just coming into the present moment, just to have fun. Just have a smile. To be peace. So I want you to practice that. Set that up. You were saying you've just started a new job. Perfect scenario. You can remember the new people you've met, and imagine tomorrow you're going to have a really great time with them, and set it up that anytime you need to, you just step back into that awesome. And each one of us can think of different scenarios where you could practice having that pathway. Lord Kirov shared they have a new job, so they specifically have a bunch of new co-workers, and in their mind, each one of them, they can set up this button, this pathway that talking to them brings out some more happiness, brings out some more peace, brings out some more focus. And whatever you imagine you want to bring, you set it up that you've got this way that just brings you into that more. And whether it's conversations with family, whether it's like social settings like parties or gatherings, or smaller things like dates or hanging out with new friends, or a job interview, or talking with a co-worker or a boss, I invite each of you to right now imagine some of your social situations where you can just train yourself to be stepping into this peace, this strength, enjoying who they are, thinking about feeling fun, thinking about expressing things in a way that the other person will really hear and feel. Being curious and just enjoying them, asking good questions, sharing things about yourself that you like. And any time that you think about worries or reactions or emotions or triggers, just label all of them, hey, that's not the present moment. I want to just really be able to show up with as much of my creativity and goodness as I can. So practice what it's like to just come back into that. And for some of us, just practicing that a couple of times is enough that, hey, now I've got that idea, I can do it. For some of us, we might need to practice it many times. But I invite you to imagine just practicing it once is enough that I can just do it. Imagine how good that would feel. Give yourself this awesome pathway that feels really good, that feels really inviting. Alright, Buddhalicious has just jumped on the chat. They weren't able to join us in VR today, but glad they can still watch here. Great to have you here. Alright, can I see with a nod or a wave or a dance, that idea of training yourself, of coming back into the moment? How was that for you? Especially thinking about it in some social situation. Got a thumbs up from Lord Kirov. A nod from Jackson. Did it make sense? Was it compelling or seem achievable? Let's hear it, Lord Kirov. I want you to encourage everyone to get involved.
I've had tiny moments that seem similar to this, of having just focusing on what was happening in the moment and not even realizing that I was doing it. So thinking of the ability to trigger that and have that happen is exciting.
Hey, that's so good to hear. Thank you. And I would like to ask, in the little moment we had just now when I said practice it, were you thinking of the idea of triggering it, or were you imagining a scenario and actually triggering it?
I was thinking of an instance where I was just doing a simple breathing meditation at a lake and just turned into this 5-minute segment of me just being hyper present of everything around me. And I was just thinking, it's like, I really want to be able to do that a lot more.
Awesome. All right. So I would like you to imagine tomorrow on your way to work that you give yourself 5 minutes of that. And I would also like you to imagine and practice. You remember in the lake meditation, we had that feeling of diving into the water. Just, So imagine tomorrow you've set yourself up with this good feeling and you're feeling good throughout the day. But any time that you need to dive into the water, just imagine how good it feels to just say, hey, one breath, diving into the water. Hey, I'm back to having fun and being present and loving it. So practice those two things in your mind. Imagine just really diving into that in the morning and seeing your whole day full of it. And then also, I'll give that a moment to sink in. Like tomorrow morning, you're going to do it. You're going to set yourself up for it. And it's going to feel really good. And then throughout the day, you'll keep reminding yourself of it. And especially if there's any moment that you need to, then wow, you just dive into it even more. And every time you think about that idea, every time you say it, every time you imagine it or envisage it, you get better at it. How is that?
I think I'll have a much better day tomorrow.
Awesome. So I'd like to point out to you, but also to everybody, how you said you'd like to have this ability to do that. And when we're training our minds, it's very important to look at what do we actually think. So the difference between thinking, I'd like to do that, compared to, this is what it would be like to do it. Wow, I'm doing it. Wow, I can do it. Just that subtle difference in how we practice it or how we think about it can really change how quickly we can learn these skills, or even whether we learn it at all. I know I spent years thinking, I wish I was a certain way. And it wasn't until I learned to imagine, hey, I am that way and I can do that and this is what it would be like. And that's when I very quickly learned that new way of feeling or that new way of acting. You work in construction. I like to think about it as like building in our mind. We get to really, when you're watching your mind carefully and you see what you're actually practicing, then you get to really build stuff with your mind. I know some of us are computer programmers, and it's the same thing, similar analogy. If you're thinking to yourself, I wish I was like that, what's the program there? The program is wishing. Whereas if you're thinking, to be able to trigger that, I think I'm triggering being present and I feel peaceful and that's great. The program there is, hey, I'm doing this and I can do this. Different program gets different results. And learning to look really closely, whether you want to see all the different parts of your mind as different parts of a city or different forests with seeds you've planted, or different programs, and every function you can clearly see what the output of that function is, or see it as an artwork. What do you paint? What do you decorate? Which things do you keep etching in? Which new things are you creating? How bright do you make different parts? How energetic do you make different parts? Really learning to watch your mind carefully. Watch what you're thinking, watch what you're practicing carefully. You can massively improve how you train yourself, how you shape yourself. The camera's on me, but I'd love to just see if anyone is a computer programmer, can I maybe see with a nod whether that analogy seemed actionable when you think about your mind and self-training? What about the other analogies as a thinking about your mind as an artist, like trying to paint in exactly what will help you, or trying to build the habits by you make a blueprint and you build the blueprint. It's you practice exactly what you want. So I'd actually like to put the idea out there, put the idea into each of you that you're an awesome brain programmer, that you're an awesome mental builder. And more than that, because I know you already are, I know you've done it in great ways, I want to put the idea into you that you can see all the blueprints in your mind, all the plans, all the program. You see the whole artwork. And you're embracing that this artwork, this is your masterpiece. It's your life. You can program every part of it. I want you to be excited. Envisage the most enlightened, amazing version of you. And go through and debug, or rewrite, create the best part of you for every aspect of you. Build the infrastructure. If having the ability to step into the present moment in peace is a foundation that makes everything better, practice that so strongly that any other part of your life you can build it on top of that, and it's awesome. Alright, I think it's almost time for our closing meditation. Does anyone else have any last questions or comments?
Is there such a thing as too much meditation?
That's a great question. Well, it depends upon your goals. If you want to achieve a bunch of different things and you go and meditate for 16 hours a day every day, then you're not going to achieve those other things. Some people choose that being a consciousness of pure bliss is their main goal, and they'll go and meditate all day long, and they'll probably go live in a temple and then start teaching the people who want to come and learn. So, is there too much meditation? I would say the answer pretty much is always no. Like, who's going to sit and do 8 hours a day? I'm pretty sure that for anybody, if they're doing 3 or 4 hours a day, it's going to cut out the unhelpful things from their life and make them more awesome at all the good things. So if you're thinking of anything in the range from 5 minutes to 4 hours, I would say no such thing as too much. If you're thinking about more than that, I would then be asking yourself, well, is meditation and brain training, is that your career? Is that your profession? And what is your goal? What's your dream life? And then you have to envisage the dream life and see how much meditation fits into that. Does that answer the question? I mean, you could have been.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. I think it's a similar kind of answer for many kinds of things. Like, is it too much exercise? And if you want to be an Olympic athlete, no. It's just optimizing your exercise routine so that you are as fit and skillful and awesome as possible. Fitting in how much exercise. Yes, almost all of us should probably do a bit more exercise. But then how much is too much is just balancing the best amount for your life. And another similar topic is like, how much social media should we do? I actually think if every moment you're on social media, you are spreading compassion and making friends with people who are all about enlightenment and learning things, or even creating things that are awesome for your career or for your personality, then that's great. But if you're spending any time doing stuff that is unhelpful or cultivating not nice feelings, then that's not great. And I guess similarly with meditation, there are meditations that are awesome. Kindness meditation, almost everybody can benefit from making beautiful kindness meditation, from cultivating feelings of patience and understanding and care to more and more beings. Practicing being more in the moment, practicing watching your mind more fully. I think everybody, I imagine 99.999% of humans could benefit from doing more of that. But perhaps somebody's already been doing that for years, and they might be better off at imagining or meditating on being a better communicator of enlightenment. There are also forms of meditation where it can actually introduce hindrances. I've been to, I mentioned some meditation schools where the people focus on how their mind wasn't deep enough. Or I've seen metaphors that people use to describe their mind that actually might help them a little bit, but then it doesn't help them go any further. So yeah, watching how you meditate and crafting your meditation to be as helpful, as liberating, as empowering as possible, I'd say that is as important as how much meditation you're doing. If you're meditating on something that's unhelpful, then maybe you're even better not doing that meditation. Thanks. I think that was a great question, and I hope the answer was helpful.
Absolutely.
Any other last questions or comments before we do our closing meditation? Okay, so I'm going to start our closing meditation by doing a body scan, which can be used for deep relaxation. It can be used for really strongly bringing ourselves into a powerfully focused meditation. It can be used for putting yourself into a deep sleep. People use it for hypnosis as they craft a state of mind ready to receive awesome transformation. So as we do the body scan, we'll be focusing on our bodies becoming calm. And I'm also giving you the idea or the suggestion that as your body relaxes, you'll be going more powerfully into the present moment, more powerfully into watching your consciousness. So for the meditation, once we've done the body scan, we're going to spend time just being in the breath, focus on the breath, just now, just present. Every moment, present moment, feeling the present moment with more peace, more calm, more strength. You're just practicing being in the present. Oh, there's a thought. Oh, no, I'm as fast as I can, come back to the breath. The breath is my anchor into this present moment. That's going to be our meditation. And I mentioned today, like, being a brain programmer or looking at the foundation that you practice. While our meditation will be looking at the breath at that point, it also teaches you to look more closely at what you're thinking and feeling. Keep practicing being focused on the breath, but you will notice when your mind does something else, and you come back as fast as you can. But just from those little moments of awareness and redirecting, you'll also be learning to see your mind more intricately, to see the details of the code in your brain. Instead of being in the artwork of your mind, being able to step back and see the artwork of your mind and be the artist. So for this meditation, we're just going to be present, just breathing. And it also will automatically teach you to be more aware of the intricacies of your mind. So we're going to do a body scan to take us deep into meditation. Then we're going to do a breathing meditation for present moment. So I invite everybody to get comfortable. I'm going to start by just wiggling my hips, just jiggling my butt into the seat. Feel the seat beneath me, and then I feel as I do that and I be aware of my legs, it actually made me want to move my feet and my knees a little to feel more balanced in the seat. So just be aware of how you're sitting, how your legs are. Are your legs crossed or are your feet flat on the ground? And then I'm just going to check my spine, and as I feel my spine, I move it back and forward a little, side a little, sit up a little straighter, pull my shoulders back, lift my head up and close my eyes. Bring my hands together in a peaceful place. Take a deep breath. As we now begin our body scan. So I invite you to feel the tips of your toes. And I want you to catch your attention. Feel the tips of your toes. Maybe your visual imagination is really easy for you to imagine your toes. Maybe your spatial imagination. Like move your mind down into your toes. Maybe you feel like you're looking down at your toes, even though your eyes are closed. Maybe you imagine the skin and the muscles. Maybe you feel the shape of the toes. And then as you feel into your toes, take a slow, peaceful breath and just let the toes feel more at peace. Feel both of your big toes. And then both the toes next to them. the middle toes, the next toes, the little toes, and then feel the knuckles of all the toes. And some of you may already be feeling tingles or warmth or heaviness, just deep relaxation in the toes. Or some of you may find that as we keep scanning, nicer and nicer feelings will slowly be felt through the body. Or some of you may notice just gently feeling better, and then suddenly it's a wave that it feels so much better. So as you feel all the toes, the knuckles of the toes, feel the tops of the feet, imagine all the bones inside of your feet. The soles of the feet. The ankles. And then as we scan again from the ankles through the feet, through the toes, notice what your experience of it is like. Do you more feel like you're looking around the outside, like seeing the skin of the feet? Maybe you feel the muscles. Maybe you see the muscles and the bones, the blood vessels and the nerves. Maybe you're feeling the flowing, relaxing feelings. Some people imagine soothing colours filling up their feet. Just scan your feet again, and maybe let yourself imagine some of those ideas, and just see how each one feels. And then you bring the awareness into the ankles and up through the legs, up through the shins, the calf muscles, and as our body feels more relaxed, these nice sensations move through our body, your mind will be more present, more powerful. Focused in the body scan, and also ready to be focused in the breathing meditation. So let's feel again up through our toes, up through our feet, up through our ankles, through our arm, through our legs. And then bring your awareness up through the upper legs, through the hips. Next, I invite you to feel from the hips down through the legs, the knees, the calves, the ankles, the feet and the toes. And just let yourself feel all of the bottom half of your body. Maybe notice the interesting sensations and take some deep, soothing breaths as you feel from the hips to the tips of your toes. Bringing that nice feeling from the tips of the toes back through the feet, through the ankles, up through the legs, through the knees, up through the thighs, up through the hips. Feel your balance, feel your torso, the muscles around your abdomen, the muscles in the lower back. Take a deep breath down into your abdomen. Take an expansive breath into your lungs, gently feeling your ribs expanding. Feel the muscles in your upper back. Feel all the sensations in your chest. And into your shoulders. The shoulders near the neck. Working your way out across the top of the shoulders to where the shoulders meet the arms. So now feeling from the shoulders down through the torso, the hips, the legs, the feet. Feel that all as you take some deep, beautiful breaths. And then become aware of your arms, your elbows, your wrists, the backs of the hands. Imagine your awareness scanning through your hand, from the back of the hand through to the palm of the hand. Feel the bones inside and the muscles, and then rolling down into the knuckles. And bit by bit, your awareness just scans through the fingers and the thumbs, moving through, finding and creating really nice sensations. And then feeling all of the fingers, take a few more deep breaths, and all those feelings feel nicer. And nicer. And you bring the nice feelings from the fingers up through the hands, up through the arms, elbows, upper arms, shoulders, up into the neck. Even if you're having really amazing, interesting sensations, just roll with it. Enjoy the beautiful sensations in your body and mind and consciousness. Through each vertebrae of the neck. And I felt like really stretching my mouth open wide as a nice feeling flows through my jaw. And then as my jaw relaxes, my lips feel nice, my nose feels nice, my cheeks, my eyes, my forehead. I feel the whole of my face in tranquility. Then I feel the top of my head, the back of my head, and the ears. And then I feel into my head, feel my brain, the billions of brain cells, the trillions of connections between them. The connection from my brain down through my spine and out to every part of my body. And I feel my whole body, my whole self, as I take some deep, soothing breaths. Feel my whole body feeling even better as I take 3 more breaths. And then I bring my attention onto the breath. I can just forget about the body, as I'm now bringing my attention onto this anchor. The breath holds my attention. And each moment that I feel focused and immersed in the breath, I feel how good it feels. And I give myself more moments being immersed in the breath. Watch your awareness and become more fully into the present moment, more awake, more powerful, immersing your attention into feeling the breath, hearing the breath. Each moment that you're focused in the breath, notice that. Give yourself more of these moments. Imagine every one of your brain cells focused on the breath, your whole consciousness unified in this present moment. Keep breathing. Aware of your awareness. Aware of your awareness, completely focused on each moment of the breath. Watch how you bring your focus more fully into the breath. Learn how you make your concentration more powerful. And do that over and over and over again. And then imagine stepping into the present moment throughout your day, over and over again. Bringing into each present moment a peace, a strength, and ease. Imagine if you made every moment a meditation, having fun with friends, bringing your best self to work, bringing peace and love to your acquaintances, to your family. And then remember the body scan, the toes, the feet, the legs, the torso, the arms and the head. Remember the peak sensations you had when we scanned the body. And just know that you can tap into these feelings and even more beautiful feelings. And the more you practice, the more amazing sensations you can be. And then just take a moment to appreciate this meditation. Remember whatever moments you'd like to remember. Feel whatever you'd like to feel. And then become aware of the muscles around your mouth, the muscles above the lips, beneath the lips, around the mouth. And just give yourself a smile, just gently putting the smile on your face. And as you're coming out of the meditation, just bring that smile. Bring that peace. And we're going to finish today's session with our dedication. I'll need to go after the dedication, but I invite you to continue to spend time together. Support one another, share the most beautiful moments you had. Say out loud that you practiced, that tomorrow is going to be great. Or say the things you practiced. Just by sharing it, you remember it and feel it more. You can say it to yourself again tomorrow. So we're just going to bring ourselves into the dedication. The time that we spend practicing good feelings, learning to master our consciousness, it's so precious. My wish for you is that you make each moment a meditation. You bring joy and bliss and goodness into everything you do. I also hope that you set aside some time each day to explicitly go into awesomeness, to explore how good you can feel, to practice awareness. And I want to dedicate this even bigger. So I know the states of bliss, the peace and comfort that you can create, the profound transformations you can be. They're bigger than you've even imagined now. And I dedicate this class to that you. And I hope you're excited about the bliss that you can be. That you're curious about how liberated your mind could be. How you would be if you let go of all nervousness or all habits that aren't the ones you'd choose. And you created your mind where everything is what you choose. I dedicate this class to that you, where you are completely liberated, aware of each moment, present, bringing your creative best self into everything. Any thought or feeling that doesn't help you, instantly let it go. Come back into the present moment, fully free, fully empowered. And may this idea, the fully liberated you, may that be in your mind at all times. May you feel happy and excited and full of love and positivity at all times. Thank you so much to everyone who's been here. To those of you who come regularly, you know I care about you and I'm excited for the goodness you cultivated. I cherish your company. I'm so glad you're here. And to those of you who are new, I'm so glad you're here with us. I hope you continue to join us. So I'm going to finish the live stream now. To those of us who were here on the live stream, I hope that it will continue to impact your life just as much as it's impacted mine.